Tonight, the category is medieval. Some queens decided to go knight, other queens decided to go princess, but I said, let this castle burn. I transformed myself into a dragon witch. I had the claws, I had the spells, and I had the neon noir magic. In this brand new series, Afterglow, I am taking you behind the runway of Drag Duel, where I tell you all the behind the scenes of how I came up with the idea of the looks and where all my inspiration came from. So buckle up, kings and queens, because this episode starts now.
Coming for your spot, neon noir, now let me show you what I got.
Hello, my beautiful light brides. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Neon Noire. I'm a half Italian, half Canadian drag queen living in Amsterdam, and I'm so excited to be back on YouTube to talk to you about a new show that I will be participating in. If you haven't already heard, I am going to be on the next season of Drag Duel. That is right, I'm going to be on season 3, so if you're not watching that show, I suggest you do. In this series, we are going to be breaking down the looks that I created for Drag Duel, and I'm so excited to show you what I have been working on. So, without further ado, let's get into episode 1. Or actually, should I say episode 0? Because today we are going to be talking about my promo look. So, the promo look theme was medieval couture. And girl, when I got this, I was disappointed, to be completely honest. I am not a medieval girly. I never really ventured into that. I don't do Renaissance fair. I'm a little bit edgier. I'm a little bit cooler. So when they gave me this theme, I was a little bit like, how do I do this? Now, the color palette that they gave me was purple and gold, and they said you could use neutrals like black and white intermixed. Now, again, I love purple. I love bright colors. I mean, my name is Neon Noire at the end of the day, but I'm not a gold person. I'm more of a silver gal, but we had to make it work. So when I said medieval, I was like, I'm not doing princess. I'm not doing cutesy. I thought about doing a jester, but then decided not to because, spoiler alert, there might be another theme coming in where a jester might be just a good theme for it. So I said, you know what? Let's not put that. But then I was like, what can I do? When I think of medieval, my references were to movies and TV shows. So I was thinking of Harry Potter. I was thinking of Game of Thrones. And I was like, what do these things have in common? And then it hit me. Dragon. And fun fact, I am a dragon in the Chinese zodiac sign. So this seemed quite like a perfect match. The problem is that when you say dragon and you say purple, my mind automatically went to Spyro. You know that dragon from PlayStation 2? I know because I'm that old that was my game of choice. And you know what? I'm not mad at a Spyro-inspired look. The only problem is that when I think of purple dragon, I also think of Charity Case on Drag Race UK. And girl, I can't live up to that look. So I had put that idea on pause and then started thinking of what else can I do? Now, another idea that I had was a sort of wizard / sorcerer idea. Thinking back to that Harry Potter or that Witcher vibes. Wicked had just come out when doing this look, and I thought a lot of people would have come with this idea. So I wanted to sort of switch it up. So I began sketching, coming up with different ideas, and I was like, why don't I marry these two ideas together? Take this idea of a dragon and take this idea of a sorceress and mash them together to come up with this dragon sorceress witch. And baby, I loved it. And that's how the idea started. So then the question is, how do I make a dragon sorceress look? So normally in a process like this, my creative way is to sketch out different ideas, come up with different mood boards, and then go and get them made to my liking. There was only one issue with this one. During this time, the person who usually makes my clothes, shout out to Cinderella Specialties, was ill. Very ill. And so she was unable to help me during this time. The other hurdle I had was that when I come up with looks, I usually spend months putting them together, right? I find the outfits, I get certain things made, then I get hair made to it. For this challenge, I only had 2 weeks. So I was already at a disadvantage. I didn't have my seamstress and I didn't have time either. So I needed to get really creative with how I put this together. So I went to my trusty friend, Shein, AliExpress, and Amazon because, girl, we were gonna do a lot of styling and not a lot of making. During this time, I was also watching Gala Drag in Las Palmas, which is like Gran Canarian drag. If you speak to any Spanish person, they will tell you this is where Drag Race originated. It is from this competition. The rumor is that RuPaul went to Las Palmas 20 years ago and saw this competition. He's like, I want to turn that into a TV show. And every Spanish person will tell you, and honestly, it's a really good show, so I'd recommend you watch it if you don't. But one of the things about like Gran Canarian drag is these awesome headpieces. And I was like, I want a headpiece like that. I sourced them to see who can make me one. And A, nobody can do it in time. And B, they were hella expensive. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna make my own one. I don't know why I thought, that I could make my own, but I guess like the gay audacity in me just was like, yeah, you can do that. So I bought some stuff on Shein and AliExpress. I bought this mask that I found, like a kid's toy mask. And I bought some feathers and I bought a headpiece and I started like just constructing it. And it was turning out pretty good. I rhinestoned the hell of it to make it more draggy. And this headpiece was giving. I was really excited by this headpiece. It was giving me sort of like those Lion King on Broadway vibes, which honestly was working. Next was the staff and the dress. So the dress, we want to keep the dress simple because I was going to have this medallion and I was going to have this staff and I was going to have this headpiece. So I didn't want so many competing things. So the dress was like a $10 dress. Honestly, it worked really well for what it was. Or so I thought. More on that later. And for the staff, I immediately thought to my friend Paloma Luss, who a few years ago at Super Bowl Amsterdam came out with this staff. So I called her up and I'm like, baby, can I borrow that staff for a photo shoot? And thankfully, she lent it to me. So I had the staff and I had the headpiece and I had the purple dress. I ordered some claws online and I ordered the necklace. Now I'm really mad about this necklace because I had pictured this necklace to be like quite large, like think Flavor Flav, but it actually ended up being super tiny and you didn't even see it. And then in my closet, I had this black cape that I used for like some sort of vampire look. But when I put it together, it was missing something. It just didn't feel as grand as I expected it. The dress was plain, you didn't see the medallion, and the cape was just a cheap-ass cape. And I was like, this is not the first impression I want to make. So again, I called up my girl Paloma again, shout out to Paloma Lust, and I was like, do you have anything? And she gave me this jacket that she had out of this black and gold material, which was honestly perfect. This worked so well with the overall look. And I put it together and it was like, sort of giving. Once I had the look together, I decided, you know what? I am the production person. Let's give them a little bit of a taste of what I want. And so going back to my sort of Game of Thrones-esque vibes, I was like, I need sand dunes. I need sand dunes to kind of give you that regalness. And so I found sand dunes. We drove an hour outside the city to shoot these amazing pictures. And baby, I was feeling my fantasy. So that's how I came up with the look. Now, do I like the look today? It's cute. But now knowing what I know, seeing the full look, and that's the one thing that I wish I had was time to edit because everything was so rushed that you kind of have to go with your gut, right? But then when you see the results, you're like, I would have tweaked a few things. So the things I would have wanted to tweak, and which I probably will if I ever reuse this look, is the dress underneath. I think it's a little bit plain. It doesn't necessarily read dragon to me. So I probably would have done a dress with more of like a scale pattern on it. I think that would have just taken it up a little extra notch. And of course, made that medallion bigger. Now the hair is another thing. I didn't have time to get hair made. Also, I had this giant headpiece, so I didn't want anything that was too in my face. So I went with this purple hair that I already have, which was fine, but it was a long hair. So I wish I had a little bit of an updo to hide it a little bit more. I think that would have just like taken it up that extra piece. All in all, I'm super happy with this look. So yeah, that's the story of my first look. What do you guys think of the look? Let me know in the comments down below. I do read all of them and we'll try to reply. I'm also gonna probably do Ask Me Anything sort of series at the end of this for Drag Duel. So if you do have any questions about Drag Duel, put those in the comments below. I might actually use them for a future video. On that note, my name is Neon Noire, at Miss Neon Noire on all social channels, and I'll see you in my next video when I talk about the next theme. Toodaloo.